Are y'all ready? College block, college block, college block network. The 50 block connection. College block, college block, college block network. The 50 block connection.
I'd like to thank everybody again for watching another edition of College Block. Lately, I know some of you viewers have been checking for my show. As of lately, I've been out in the field working on some new innovative ideas to bring to my show, as well as doing the studio interviews. I have a lot of venues that I've been going to, filming, and I want to bring something new, something refreshing to you. But today's show is very special. Okay, I'm a White Plains resident. I grew up here in White Plains, and it's a pleasure for me to be a part of something major. Okay, so as of right now, I want to introduce you to my guest that we have today. This is his second time on College Block, Mr. Glen Hockley.
Rhythm, it's a pleasure. It really is an honor to be on your program and to be able to be in front of your great audience. And you know, there isn't every day that I get a chance to speak in front of our young people,
Okay.
our future, and that is definitely a major focus when I'm mayor of this city, is to bring the youth back into the center of things, and so that they get involved and
Yes.
we get involved in their lives.
Yes, excellent. Well, I just want to let the public know that this is a special forum that I would do for any candidate. So for any of the other candidates that would like to reach out to me and then want to come in and speak on their behalf and, you know, let the public know what they're doing out there and maybe invite me to some of your events, feel free to do so. You know what I mean? So it just happens that Glenn reached out to me. He's very accessible. And we just want to speak about, you know, some of his ideas and contributions to him hopefully obtaining, you know, this mayor position. Now, one quick question before we even get started. Now, a lot of jobs have different job descriptions. Can you explain to the public what is a job description of a mayor? What does that entail?
The actual job description of a mayor is defined a little differently in different cities, even in Westchester County.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
For instance, Mount Vernon has a strong mayor system where the mayor can actually veto the council's decisions at certain points. In White Plains, that isn't so. It's considered a weak mayor position. You can have a strong mayor, but it is a weak mayor system. That's what they call it, because the mayor only has one vote.
Okay.
Yes, although the mayor does set the agenda for council meetings, council members, if there are two council members that want to bring an issue onto the agenda, they have an opportunity also.
Okay.
But there is a difference in White Plains, between the mayor and the common council, even though the mayor is part of the common council because of the vote situation. He has one vote.
Yes.
The difference is that the position of the mayor is an administrative one,
Okay.
while the common council is a legislative one.
Interesting.
And therefore, when the mayor puts the agenda together, the council can vote it up or down.
Okay. Right. I've seen that. Now, as far as there's different groups There's your Republican Party, your Democratic Party, your Independent Party. Now, I see on your ballot here that you are running as an independent. Can you explain to the public what does that mean?
Sure, and that's a great question. Number one, the political parties that people are familiar with, whether it's the Democratic, the Republican, the Conservative, the Working Families, the Independents Party, those are considered constituted parties by the Board of Election. What I represent is a body, or you can call it a party. It is called People Over Politics.
Okay.
That is an independent line on the ballot. Now, there are confusions that are created by having names like Independence Party, which there's nothing independent about it. It's a name of a party just like Democratic or Republican.
Right.
It has a leadership hierarchy, and they sometimes have their own candidates. Sometimes they put on candidates that are Democrats or Republicans. They are not an independent body. My line is totally independent because it is just a body, a way for me to get on the ballot. The difference between Glen Hockley and the constituted political parties is that when I'm in office, I will share the seat with the public. The people are my only focus.
Okay.
I am nonpartisan. I have no tribute or allegiance to any political party.
Right.
I have no political bosses. The only boss I have is you.
Right, excellent. Now, I was there on, was it Monday at the Board of Elections?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain to the public what that process was about? Because I see you had like a stack of papers.
Yes.
Okay, so what were you doing at the Board of Elections?
The Westchester Board of Elections had decided, since we have a special election for mayor, which will be on March 31st, which is a Thursday, and we'll talk more about that in a minute.
Okay.
That's when the election is. They made a decision that the constituted parties, or the political parties that everybody knows, Democrat, Republican, etc., do not have to get petitions signed to be put on the ballot. Right. But if you have an independent line like People Over Politics, Glen Hockley, then you have to get 700, and I believe it was 742 signatures, which is the amount of what the names you put on the petition. So we had about a little under 100 volunteers go out, and we only had officially, I believe, 10 days to get those signatures, which means you only have about 7 or 8 because you have to go over the signatures, have an attorney look at them, bind them properly, put a cover page on, present it to the Board of Elections. So we got close to 1,200 signatures, and we're good to go. So Monday, we went to the Board of Elections and presented the Board of Elections, Commissioner Reginald Lafayette, who's the Democratic commissioner there, and we presented the petitions. I asked a question, is everything in order?
Right.
And he said yes. And so we're on the ballot.
Excellent.
And in my opinion, a vote for me is a vote for you. We will get right to work the day I get into office, and while many politicians talk about a 100-day plan, I have a 365-day plan. We will be working every single day to help you.
Excellent, excellent. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically direct people to your website, because as I'm reading here on one of your flyers, it seems like you have a really intense resume. So I could read all this, but I'm going to direct people to your website, which is www.hockleyformayor.org. There's a lot of information on there. There's some other video footage coverage, media coverage, and a lot of great things supporting Glen Hockley's run for mayor. Another thing, besides your former resume that we have here, what are some of the things that you already have in mind without exposing your whole entire game plan? What are some of the main issues that the public has addressed and has brought to your attention that if you become mayor, if you shall become, that you're going to get in there and you're going to get to work? What are some of those priorities that you have if you become mayor of White Plains?
Well, the one priority that we have, and probably my fellow candidates probably all are saying the same thing relating to taxes. The only thing is I have a solution.
Okay.
I actually have a plan, and that is to take the tax burden off Joe and Mary Citizen and the businesses. You see, we have to be conscious that we can't always go to the trough and keep every time the budget isn't balanced, go to the citizen and ask for more money.
Right.
There has to be an accountability. When I'm mayor, one thing we're going to do, every expenditure, every single dollar, we have to show a high yield for a result. And then on top of that, I want to show the public how every dollar is spent. And that way, we will together make sure that this is used in a wise purpose for you. Secondly, we're going to have to do some internal efficiencies at City Hall. I'm not going to get into that now because that wouldn't be fair to the people that are working presently and so forth. But the one thing I will tell you is we're not going to balance the budget on the backs of labor.
Yes.
Secondly, the main thing, which I have been talking about over and over and over again, is alternative revenue streams.
Okay.
Now, one of them was the sales tax. A year and a half, 2 years ago, Mayor Delfino and myself pushed for a 0.5% sales tax. My opponent, Mr. Roach, and the others on the council wanted to hold off on passing a sales tax. You know, you see, 95% of the sales tax, according to the IRS, comes from out of town, out of our city.
Yes.
Comes from consumers and employees and so forth, because we have only 57,000 people, and there are 250,000 people that visit us on a daily basis.
This is true.
So, if you look at the math, by holding off, and then they were being, my opponent was being instructed at that time by the assemblyman who became mayor for a few months to hold off, and it was a political strategy to make the city get on its knees, so to say. But what we should have done is gotten that sales tax. We would have brought in by now at least $18 million in addition. We would have never had the layoffs. We would have never been in cutting services. And so that is a revenue stream, that the type of thing I'm talking about. But the new revenue streams, what we do need to do going forward is focus on things like sponsorship on public property, advertising on sanitation trucks. Putting advertisements in the backs of the ball fields, not tobacco, not alcohol, but on the baseboards of the hockey rink. Sponsorships of parks and so forth. We need to bring the grant writer position, which was eliminated by the former mayor. And that is a position that I had created through sponsoring a piece of legislation that brought in about $5 million for the salary. He did away with the position for maybe $60,000, $70,000 a year. It can pay for itself if you get a good grant writer and bring money not from taxpayers but from private corporations and other levels of government. I want to really, this is a major issue. This is something that comes in on many levels. Downtown residents that live in public housing, renters, co-op owners, condo owners that have apartments. Some of these buildings have no garages or parking lots. Some only allow one car for parking.
Major problem,
Major problem. Why don't we do what Boston does? Downtown only. Let's sell permits, street parking. People will love to buy those. We'll make them reasonable. Even guest passes for your friends and relatives that may come for a couple of days. The city will get an income. It'll have a purpose to it.
Right.
It'll be a service to the public. And people will be able to park near their homes and not have to go to Harrison to park. I just heard that people in one neighborhood
Really?
who live on North Broadway are parking in Harrison and walking back home. Now,
Right.
can you imagine this in this city, in this country, in this day and age?
Right. No,
and I
this
understand things are tough.
Right.
But we got to make it easy. We also want to make it consumer friendly.
Right.
Because the more consumer friendly we are by giving relief to parking, the more people will come in from out of town, buy things, sales tax, new businesses grow, jobs, property tax. One thing I want to do is if you get a ticket for parking, if you can pay that the first day you get the ticket, I want to give a heavy discount on that ticket.
Okay, this is great.
Another idea on parking, that we have streets that'll only allow you 1 hour or 2 hours for the
Right.
entire day. You have to move to another street. That's not friendly.
No, it's not.
It's
at
not
all.
friendly to residents. It's not friendly to employees. In some cases, they're both. What we need to do is bring out the piece of chalk. Yes, if you want to move the car, I don't know if it should be 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, or what have you. Mark the tire, let them move down the street a little bit. They don't have to leave the street,
Right.
and problems are over. Yes, there'll be less tickets, and that's unfortunate, but we'll make up the money from alternative revenue streams.
Right.
And, you know, I can go further on that, but that is the number one issue, is the tax burden,
Yes.
the parking issue, and then, you know, there are issues that are neighborhood related, which I don't know if we have time enough to go into every neighborhood, what the issues are. Safety, public safety
Definitely.
is a biggie. I want to get police back on the beat,
Yes.
2 by 2, if possible. One on one side of the street, one on the other side of the street. On different streets, not just one neighborhood, but where there has been an impact of crime and or there's a potential for it, like downtown.
Right.
Mamaroneck Avenue, Post Road, Main Street, Lexington Avenue, different streets, because the majority of people want to be safe.
This is true.
The next thing that we're going to do away with, and this is an issue that has been swept under the carpet, and that's gangs in our city.
Right.
You know, we've had mayors that say there are no gangs. You know, and I know that we have many, several.
This is true.
And they are recruiting from the city. They're selling drugs in the schools, in the classrooms. This is coming to an end.
Right. It's something.
And
yeah.
go ahead.
No, it's definitely something that's that has been developing over the last several years. As far as dealing with public safety, some of the ideas that I've been talking to with peers and other organizers was to, like you said, start having the police get back into the older ways of relating to the community. Because even when I'm out and about during the summer, I walk right by them. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's maybe eye contact, sometimes there's not. But introduce yourself. Say hello. You know, hi, how you doing? I'm Travis Williamson. I'm a resident of White Plains. You know, what's your name, sir? Oh, I'm Officer such and such and such. Okay, well, you have a good day. It should go back to that instead of, you know what I mean, just because the thing is, even with public safety, at some point discussing that, I want to know whether they understand what their job description is as well. Just like how you explained the mayor's job position, because to protect and serve, meaning you're a civil servant. So there should be more intervention. Instead of waiting till someone gets killed or beat up, there should be more intervention. Like when you call them to come to a situation and try to clarify things, a lot of times they're like, well, what do you want me to do, arrest them? So the thing is that I think there should be more intervention instead of waiting until an incident happens and then they got to haul someone off to jail. So that's definitely a lot of things. One of the also things that I would like to advocate for is youth employment. You know what I mean, during the summer, because for whatever reason, is the youth employment is less. It's less every year. It's less and less.
Well, I think the Youth Bureau hasn't been doing its summer project anymore on the job recruiting.
Right. We need to reinstate that.
Yeah, we need to reinstate that. And furthermore, one of the things I want to do is get the Business Improvement District more active in recruiting businesses that we don't have in White Plains.
Okay.
And the focus of it is youth-oriented businesses to come to White Plains. If you ask me what that is, I actually don't know.
Right.
But what I want to do is sit together with teens, and I want to hear what they want, because they don't want what I want them to have. And I know they've got great ideas, and to sit together with the Business Improvement District and bring the businesses that they will support. And we have to, you can't just come up with movie theaters and think, oh, that's great for teens, or concerts here and there. We need to have businesses they're interested in.
Right.
And bars and saloons is not the only thing that is available.
Right. There's one thing that you spoke about from the previous interview that we had, which was the internships and the apprenticeships. I think that probably through the city or through some other organizations, for the summer, besides youth employment, they should have businesses that, how would I say, commit to at least bringing in youth for internships, apprenticeships, so that way they can get job training, right, and it can be a potential job situation. I think that's something that should be implemented too, so that way kids aren't just walking the streets all day if they're not employed.
Well, one of the things that's 100% correct, when I was a councilman, I sponsored a piece of legislation called the Apprenticeship Bill, which speaks exactly what you're talking about, but it has not been utilized. It hasn't been utilized.
Okay.
What we're going to do is utilize that plus more. I've already talked to some of the trade unions, and what I want to do is broker a relationship with the school district and the trade unions, the painters, the carpenters, etc., and have them put together a trade school.
Excellent.
So this way we can start training for the future, because right now most of the employees that do the massive constructions come from Manhattan.
Yes.
We do not have skilled labor in Westchester County, and there's no reason that every student in high school has to go to college. It's
right,
a wonderful thing, and it is a dream, and we should follow that
right,
that dream.
Yes.
But there are young people, as I've said before, as my wife always says, who's a school teacher, some people have intelligence of the imagination, some have analytical intelligence, some have intelligence of the hands.
Yes.
And I certainly, as I've said before, I can't build a cabinet, and you wouldn't want me to.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to open it. But the thing is, we need to give every opportunity at a piece of the American dream to our young people. The apprenticeship program, we can do that on a retail level. We can do it on a law office level.
Excellent.
We can do it in a business level, corporate level.
Yes.
We can do it on an education level. Some students may want to learn to be a teacher. There are so many different opportunities, and I do have a plan for that, which we don't have enough time to talk about.
Right.
But look, if we don't start focusing on our youth, they're going to move away. That's another issue, which is housing in White Plains,
yes,
which I also have a plan for young people.
This is great.
Which would be Spartan living, but clean and safe, and a chance for them to sock away a few dollars. And then if they want to stay in White Plains, they can buy a piece of the pie.
Excellent, excellent. Well, what I wanted to talk about briefly is you've had not several, but at least one fundraiser that I'm aware of. Two. Okay. So that's what I'm getting confused, because I'm like, well, I know about one of the fundraisers.
Right.
But you're having a fundraiser tonight, which is Wednesday, March 16th. Can you explain to the public about this particular fundraiser that you're doing?
Yeah, this one is going to be at the 42 Club, the restaurant 42 on top of the Ritz.
Okay.
Last week we had one at Prophecy on South Broadway.
Yes.
And basically, this one is $100. You come in, you'll have food, you'll have drink, you'll have get to hear me and meet a lot of great folks.
Right.
And it's an opportunity for us to receive these donations, because that's the system we are in, which will help us get the word out.
Yes.
That's what we're using it for.
Yes, excellent, excellent. Well, I thank you once again for the invite, because I will be there in support of you tonight.
I appreciate that, Rhythm, and thank you so much for having me on the air with you. It's always a privilege.
All right, all right. So is there anything else you would like to say to the public before? Matter of fact, I do have one thing that I want to reiterate. It's very, very important to the public. Get out there and vote, people. March 31st, all right? You need to get out there and vote, all right? You need to do your research. You need to find out what's the best candidate, who's going to do the best for our city, and you need to get out there and vote, because your vote is going to make a major difference. It doesn't make sense for you to be complaining in the background about what's not being done, what's not being offered, there's no jobs, there's no this or that. You need to get out there and vote and make a difference. And one other thing I need to say about the voting, you need to make sure that wherever your voting poll is, don't wait till the last minute, okay? Make sure you contact the Board of Elections. Make sure you read the letters that are being sent to you. If there's any changes in your voting polls or any information you need to find out, do not wait to the last minute and be confused and be running all over the city trying to find out where you need to go to vote. Get this information early, so that way it's a smooth day for you and there's no complications. Anything else you want to say, Glenn?
Well, I couldn't have said it any better, but the challenge of voting is really one of the highest privileges that we have as Americans. And to exercise that vote is so important, because it can change the future, it can change history, it can change your life. And if you stay at home and be apathetic because of what you've read about politicians and all the unfortunate things that we have been reading, you're giving up hope. You're giving up the chance to find some individuals who can be focused on being selfless and to a certain extent and helping the people. And I'd like to be that person for you. I believe that my past history, which you can see on the website, hockleyformayor.com, will show you exactly my biography, what I've done in the past, what I've actually accomplished, that you can see, touch, and feel, and then look at the issues and see where I stand.
All right. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to College Block. Get out there and vote. Peace.